What are common mistakes when applying geometry theorems? Imagine trying to solve a puzzle but missing a few key pieces. That's what happens when you make mistakes with geometry theorems. Sometimes, even a small error can lead to the wrong answer. Let's look at some common pitfalls so you can avoid them and get your geometry right every time. One big mistake is assuming that diagrams are drawn to scale. Many students look at a picture and guess lengths or angles based on how it looks. But in geometry problems, diagrams are often not accurate representations. Always relying on the given data and use calculations instead of trusting the drawing. Another common error is misreading or misunderstanding the problem's conditions. For example, applying a theorem meant for right triangles when the triangle isn't right-angled can lead to incorrect results. Carefully read all the information and check what shapes and angles are involved before choosing which theorem to use. Applying the wrong theorem is a frequent mistake. For instance, the Pythagorean theorem works only with right triangles. Using it on an oblique triangle will give you wrong answers. Similarly, confusing when to use properties of similar triangles versus congruent triangles can cause errors. Remember, similar triangles have the same shape but different sizes, while congruent triangles are exactly the same in size and shape. Naming and matching sides and angles correctly is also important. When working with similar or congruent triangles, make sure you label the corresponding parts properly. Mixing up which side matches which angle can throw off your entire calculation. Angles can be tricky too. Misunderstanding relationships like angles that add up to 90 degrees or 180 degrees, or the angles formed when lines cross, can lead to mistakes. Pay close attention to these relationships and double-check your reasoning. Another mistake is mixing up formulas for perimeter and area. Perimeter is the total length around a shape, while area is the space inside. Using the wrong formula or forgetting that area units are squared can cause errors. Also, be careful with units. Lengths, areas, and volumes all have different units, and mixing them up can mess up your answers. Sometimes, students write theorems or statements incorrectly. For example, saying alternate interior angles are congruent without the condition that the lines are parallel can be misleading. Always state the theorems clearly and accurately. Estimating answers without proper calculations is another common mistake. While quick checks are helpful, relying solely on estimation can lead to errors, especially when exact answers are needed. Always perform the calculations carefully and use estimation as a way to verify your work. To avoid these mistakes, always verify that the conditions for a theorem are met before applying it. Label all angles and sides carefully and use three-letter notation for angles. Remember key properties of shapes and keep track of whether figures are similar or congruent. Be precise with units and conversions, and write clear, accurate statements of theorems. By paying attention to these details, applying geometry theorems becomes much easier and more reliable. This way, you can confidently work through problems involving shapes, angles, triangles, circles, and polygons without getting tripped up.